Hi, in this tutorial we are going to go over how to create a new class and just create the instance variables for that class. So in Replit, when we want to create or add a new class to the one that always exists called main, we are just going to go up under and add a file. And I'm going to call this file person.java. Now, Replit now just shows that blank file. If you want them both up there, you can switch back to main and then drag person up so that you have two tabs. So when I create a new class, I need to start with the header public class and then the name of the class. And the classes typically start with an uppercase letter and should have a name according to what they do. Now, as you learned in the first lesson, classes have three main parts to them. They have the instance variables, they have the constructors, and they have the methods. For this tutorial, we're only going to talk about adding the instance variables, and then in the upcoming ones, we'll add the rest of the class as well. So when I think about creating a person, I think about what attributes that person might have, and it's going to depend on what you're doing with it. So let's think of this in the sense of maybe creating some sort of address book or something like that, some sort of database about people. So I'm going to use my attributes for my person are going to be such as they're going to have a name, they can have an address, they're going to have a age, they could have a phone number, they could have an email address, we could add a bunch of things like that, but we're just going to do a few of them for right now. So instance variables are going to be the first thing that gets created at the top of your new class. And one of the key things that we need to know about instance variables is that they always, in our case, they're always going to be private. So instance variables should only be viewable and usable by that class itself, and hence we would make them private. On the AP exam, they actually would mark you down if you did not make your instance variable private. One thing to know about that now is that I cannot directly access that variable from my main or from another class. So I'm going to say private to start with, then the type of variable. So if I'm doing the name, I might say string name. And then I'm going to say private, let's see, string address, and private, let's make age an integer just to have a different type. Technically, we're not going to do any math with their age, so probably could just be a string as well, but we'll keep it as an int for right now. So my person object is going to have a name, an address, and an age. Maybe we'll add some more in the future, but we'll start with those as the main attributes of a person. So this is declaring instance variables. So when we speak of instance variables or class variables, this is what we're talking about. The attributes of that particular object, in this case it's a person, and they all need to be private, and we typically will declare them right at the top of the class. It's the first thing that we do. In the next tutorial, we'll talk then about the next piece of the class, which is constructors.